The stories behind rare historical photos you won't find in books.
Photograph of a World War I disabled American soldier of the 369th Infantry Regiment posing with his mother in New York, United States in 1918. 3rd Infantry Regiment 169 spent 191 days in the First World War. Of the front, more than any other American unit during the war, the regiment was composed primarily of African Americans. Pictured is a man refusing to participate in the flag salute, 1936. The identity of the defiant man in the 1936 photo, refusing to salute Nazi loyalists, remains uncertain, possibly August Landmesser or Gustav Weigert. Landmesser's act of defiance stemmed from his SS connection and desire to marry a Jewish woman, while Weigert, a metal worker, attended the same event but was never welcomed emperor. Third mode. Weigert, unlike Landmesser, avoided consequences and continued a peaceful life until his death in 1959. The photograph, a mother and her daughter falling from a fire escape. In 1975, an image captured a terrifying moment, a mother and daughter tumbling from a fire escape. This haunting photograph encapsulates the harsh realities of urban life, where crumbling infrastructure and limited resources pose constant threats. Their demise echoes the struggles of countless families trapped in poverty and unsafe conditions. The tragedy stirred public outcry, sparking calls for improved safety regulations and social support systems. Decades later, this image endures as a powerful symbol, urging society to confront the inequalities that threaten the lives of its most vulnerable members. The iconic photograph, Lunch Atop a Skyscraper, depicts 11 men perched on a beam high above New York City, embodying the grit and determination of the 1930s. It symbolizes the industrious spirit and daring ambition of the era's construction workers. The photographer's perspective, seemingly from a similar precarious position, adds to the mystique surrounding the image. Despite the uncertainties surrounding its creation, the photo endures as a testament to human resilience and the relentless drive for progress. In the summer of 1948, a woman walked into a drugstore in Tupelo, Mississippi, to drop off film to be developed when she realized she had one exposure left. She saw a young boy outside and asked him to pose with his bicycle. Years later, she realized it was Elvis Presley.
In a haunting image captured by photographer Tony Vaccaro, a German prisoner of war returns to Frankfurt, only to find his bombed-out home empty. The devastation of war is palpable as he confronts the desolation, his grief etched in silent turmoil. The scene portrays the unimaginable pain of returning from conflict to find no solace, his longing for home dashed by the absence of his loved ones. A Russian survivor of the Buchenwald concentration camp identifies for the liberating U.S. troops a former camp guard accused of brutally beating prisoners, June 1945. Very young Ukrainian nationalists, in cooperation with the Nazi SS, armed with clubs, chase a Jewish woman through the streets of Lviv, Poland, where at least 6,000 Jews were killed by militias and Nazi forces in mid-1941. Clothes that once belonged to prisoners of the Dachau concentration camp, recently liberated by U.S. troops, April 1945.
This photo shows a soldier shocked by repeated explosions of bombs and bullets, causing nerve injuries leading to dementia, insomnia, and the ability to talk or walk. The photo was taken in 1916 during Operation Courcelette, France.
A touching photo captured by Claude Detloff in Vancouver as the soldiers of the Duke of Connaught's own rifles marched off to fight in the World War II. The emotions seen in the parents' and child's face and their body language combined together to make it into an unforgettable image, freezing the heart-wrenching moment forever. Luckily, the father of the boy returned safe and sound in October 1945.
Guillaume Duchenne de Boulogne, a pioneering figure in mid-19th century neurology, conducted groundbreaking facial electrostimulus experiments. Graduating from Paris Medical School in 1831, he returned to his native Boulogne before moving to Paris in 1842 to expand his research. Using electricity to diagnose and treat neurological disorders, Duchenne captured facial expressions in his photographs, notably those of an unnamed shoemaker. His work revolutionized the understanding of muscular diseases like muscular dystrophy and poliomyelitis, while also advancing the fields of electricity, photography, and physiology. In 1889, in Damascus, Ottoman Syria, a touching scene unfolded as Muhammad, a blind Muslim, carried his paralyzed Christian friend, Samir, who suffered from dwarfism. Their bond transcended religion and physical limitations, symbolizing compassion and friendship amidst diversity and adversity. In 1948, George McLaurin became the first black man admitted to the University of Oklahoma. However, he was segregated from his classmates, forced to sit alone in a corner. Despite facing discrimination, McLaurin's determination paved the way for progress in the fight against racial segregation in education.
The humiliating and fury-inducing moment was frozen in time on May 28, 1963, by Fred Blackwell, a photographer for Jackson Daily News. From left to right at the white-only counter at a Woolworth's Five and Dime store in Jackson sits three protesters: John Salter, a sociology teacher, and students Joan Trumpauer and Ann Moody. All three were from the Tougaloo College, a black college, which became the core of the civil rights movement in Mississippi. While sitting at the counter, the party was assaulted by an angry white mob who were pouring ketchup, mustard, and sugar on John, Joan, and Ann. Taken by Jacques Gourmelin, the photograph became one of the iconic pictures from the people of Brittany, France. On April 6, 1972, in Saint-Brieuc, workers from the company Joint Français went on strike, and French riot police intervened. In the photo, face-to-face stand two men, Guy Bermieux, a worker, and Jean-Yvon Antignac, a riot policeman. As it turned out, the two had been childhood friends and recognized each other. Serial killer John Wayne Gacy. As an infant, before American serial killer John Wayne Gacy was finally caught in 1978, he raped, tortured, and murdered at least 33 teenage boys and men in his Illinois home. But long before his murderous reign, during which he worked as a clown at children's birthday parties, John Wayne Gacy was just a normal boy. However, knowing what was to come after this photo was taken makes it one of the most undeniably creepy images of all time.